Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Today, inshallah, we are continuing our tafsir of La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu mulku wa lahul hamdu yuhyi wa yumiit wa huwa hayyun la yamut bi yadihi al-khayr wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir wa ilayhi al-masir. So, inshallah, we have been going phrase by phrase, and yesterday, the last week, we had finished Lahul Mulk. His is the dominion, and now we have read through actually this fifth phrase, which is Lahul Hamd. So inshallah we will continue reading from this. I had read through it once in the last week's session, but we didn't really have time for a lot of comments, and it's a long section as well. So inshallah I will read through it once more, and then inshallah we can discuss the details of the Lahul Hamd. His is the praise, which is also like a tafsir of Alhamdulillah in one sense. So we should probably look for that as well. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. The fifth phrase, his is the praise. Lahul Hamd. Since the perfections found in all being, which are the cause of acclaim and tribute, are his, praise too belongs to him. All acclaim and laudation belongs to him, from whomever to whomever it has come and will come, from pre-eternity to post-eternity. For bounty, munificence, perfection, and beauty, which are the causes of acclaim, and everything that gives rise to praise, are his. They belong to him. Indeed, as the Quran indicates, worship, glorification, prostration, supplication, and praise and laudation rise continuously, unceasingly from all beings to the divine court. The following is a comprehensive proof which sets forth this truth, affirming divine unity. When we look at the universe, it appears to us in the form of a park set with gardens, its roof gilded with lofty stars, its ground inhabited by ornamented beings. When we see it thus, we observe that the orderly, luminous, lofty heavenly bodies and purposive, ornamented earthly beings in this park are all saying, each in his particular tongue, we are the miracles of power of an all-powerful one of glory. We testify to the unity of an all-wise creator, Khaliq Hakim, an omnipotent maker. Then we look at the globe of the earth within the park of the universe, and we see it in the form of a garden in which uncountable varieties of multicolored, beautifully adorned, flowering plants have been laid out, and through which innumerable species of animals have been scattered. In this garden of the earth, all these adorned plants and decorated animals proclaim through their well-ordered forms and balanced shapes, we are each of us a miracle, a wonder of art, created by a single all-wise maker. Each of us heralds his unity and is a witness to his unity. Moreover, looking at the trees in the garden, we see fruits and flowers in various forms which have been made knowingly, wisely, generously, subtly, and beautifully to the utmost degree. And they are proclaiming unanimously, we are the miraculous gifts of a compassionate one of beauty, a merciful one of perfection. We are wondrous bounties. Thus, the heavenly bodies and beings in the park of the universe, and the plants and animals in the garden of the earth, and the blossom and fruits on its trees and plants testify and proclaim in an infinitely resounding voice, our Creator and Fashioner, the all-powerful one of beauty, the peerless all-wise one, the all-generous granter of favors, who bestowed us as gifts, is powerful over all things. Nothing at all is difficult for him. Nothing at all is outside the bounds of his power. In relation to his power, minute particles and stars are equal. A universal is as simple as a particular, while a particular is as valuable as a universal. The largest is as easy as the smallest in relation to his power, and the small is as full of art as the large. Indeed, as far as art is concerned, the small is greater than the large. All the occurrences of the past which are wonders of his power, testify that absolutely powerful one is also powerful over the wonders of the future and its contingencies. Just as the one who brought about yesterday will bring about tomorrow, so the all-powerful one who created the past will also create the future. The all-wise maker who made this world will also make the hereafter. Yes, just as the all-powerful one of glory is the only one truly deserving of worship, so he is the only one deserving of praise. Just as worship is exclusively his, so our praise and laudation is his alone. Is it at all possible that an all-wise maker who created the heavens and the earth would leave without purpose human beings, who are their most important result and the most perfect fruit of the universe? Is it at all possible that he would hand them over to causes and chance, to human beings? Is it at all possible that he would hand them over to causes and chance, that he would transform his self-evident wisdom into futility? God forbid. Is it at all possible that having planned, then formed a tree, giving it the utmost importance, and having administered it and raised it with the greatest wisdom, someone who was wise and knowing would ignore its fruits, which are its aim and purpose? Would he attach no importance to them and leave them either for thieves or to rot scattered on the ground? Of course it would be impossible. It is because of its fruit that the tree is given importance. Now, man is the intelligent being of the universe, and its most perfect fruit, result, and aim. Is it possible that the universe's all-wise maker would give to others the praise and worship and thanks and love, which are the fruits of its intelligent and conscious fruits, thus causing his self-evident wisdom to be nullified, his absolute power transformed into impotence, and his all-encompassing knowledge converted into ignorance? God forbid, 100,000 times. Since intelligent beings are the pivot of the dominical aims in the palace of the universe, and man is the most eminent of intelligent beings, is it at all possible that the thanks and worship he offers in response to the bounties he receives should go to anyone other than the palace's maker, and that the glorious maker would permit the thanks and worship due to him, which are the ultimate aim of man's creation, to go to another? Moreover, is it at all possible that he would make himself loved by intelligent beings through the endless varieties of his bounties, and that he would make himself known to them through the innumerable miracles of his art, and then, attaching no importance to them, abandon to causes and nature their thanks and worship, their praise and love, their recognition and gratitude? Is it at all possible that he would make his absolute wisdom denied and the sovereignty of his dominicality nullified? God forbid, 100,000 times, God forbid. Is it at all possible that one who cannot create a spring and cannot create all fruits and cannot create all the apples on the earth, the stamp on which is the same, could create one apple, which is a miniature specimen of all of them, and give it to someone to eat as a bounty? Is it at all possible that he should claim thanks for it and thus share in the praise due to the one absolutely deserving of praise? God forbid. For whoever creates one apple is he who creates all the apples produced in the whole world, for their stamp is the same. Moreover, whoever creates all the apples is again the one who creates all the seeds and fruits in the world, which are the source of food. That is to say, the one who gives the tiniest bounty to the least significant animate creature is directly the universe's creator and its glorious provider. Since this is so, thanks and praise are his directly. Since this is so, the reality of the universe declares unceasingly with the tongue of truth all the praise offered by all beings from pre-eternity to post-eternity is due to him alone. So again, it was a long section, but I wanted to read through it, and inshallah we can go back from the beginning and discuss some of the pieces, inshallah. But before I go into that, do we have any initial comments about the like first insights and some maybe any reminders from last week that we need to remember? Maybe Kon Hocam, would you like to start?
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, I'll try. I've just been looking at this first section here that you read, and there are, I think, sorry, 1 second. Sorry, I was just trying to find something. There are 4 words there which are key, I think, where he says bounty, munificence, perfection, and beauty are the causes of acclaim. Ni'mat, Ihsan, Kamal, and Jamal. It's quite interesting to say that these are the causes of thanks. These are the reasons that basically we are to give thanks. These are things which are quite integral to our existence. Bounty covers everything that we need that we don't have. So all of the things that we need for our existence and for our continued existence, these are things that we can't produce ourselves. We don't have them because we are created weak and we are ajiz and faqir. So bounty is very important. It covers everything that's needed and that's given. And ihsan is giving without expectation of return. So everything that is given to us by Janab Allah is given without any real expectation of return in the sort of technical sense, because we cannot give anything to him in return. Whatever we give through our worship is for our own sake, not for his, ultimately. So ihsan is something that we can't do because we have nothing to give. We can only give when he gives to us. So again, bounty and munificence are absolute needs. They are absolute requirements for us. Perfection as well. We are created in weakness, or we are created weak. And perfection means achieving a situation that you didn't have before, or achieving a point in a ladder of accomplishment that you hadn't accomplished before. So going from A to B is a kind of attainment of perfection, because if B represents what you don't have at the moment, when you are moved from A to B, you are perfected. And the only one who can perfect us is Allah, of course. So we lack perfection as well. And beauty, of course, Jamal, you can think of most of the divine names which come under Jamal. And again, we don't have those. We are Jahul and Zalum, you know. So these 4, I can understand in one sense why Ustad has singled them out as the causes of acclaim, you know. They are, what does he call them here? Where is it? Oh, I've lost it here. Medara Hamd. They are Medara Hamd. They are the fulcrum around which Hamd revolves, in a sense. So bounty, munificence, perfection, and beauty, these are very key. And if we think of those as we read the rest of the 5th phrase, which is very long and quite complex, I think we will see throughout that these 4 are always referred to, either directly or by allusion. That's all from me.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. Thank you. No, this is actually very great and good guidance for us as we read through this, inshallah. As you said, it is a long and relatively complex section, but it is indeed understanding these and seeing these bounty, munificence, perfection, and beauty in the universe, and see how they point to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's praise and acclaim and hamd, I think, are key. I see we have Nazif Abi. Would you like to share any comments, maybe around these concepts, and also and the insights about this section?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, I'll do my best comment on this. This is. I think I'm trying to remember what we talked last week, but somehow I couldn't. I was gonna make some couple points, but But this, yeah, thanks again, like especially just highlighting those words. What we forget, I think I remember like last week. So we were talking about the importance of repetition, and how these are especially some of these keywords that we need in life, and almost like in every single day, like we talked about, like kind of bread and water, and as we need. So and because like in every single day, like we're different, and also in I would like to just read a very short kind of paragraph from 32nd word, so which definitely just somehow like looks into this as like just some importance, like it says like in all, and especially just in this part, so like in how laudation, like in all acclaim just belongs to him when we say. And why Ustad Lakanism, he emphasizes, and then in different parts, he again emphasizes over and over, over and over. And in 32nd word, he goes like this. So he says towards the end of 32nd word, so that after the third section, so he says thus, since man's nature is exalted and his disposition comprehensive, he is by his very nature needy with thousands of different sorts of needs for the innumerable divine names. So again, like up to here, so how we just are talking about, like he is the praise, right? So now again, start like he draws our attention towards whatever that we are given, right? So and how I was thinking about it's been after just a couple of days ago, like that after that the Turkish dars in Patterson, and we were just reading very similar kind of part that it just came to me like it's been so how easy that we take everything for granted in life, right? So and then so not only that, we also somehow our own nafs, right, that evil commending soul, that so just somehow pushes us towards almost kind of just claiming some sort of kind of possession of the things that we are given every single day, and as if like we just act like we own that, from all the just very simple that we see, that from oxygen, like right, so like breathing towards like anything that we are giving towards like our health, our strength, or our this and that, so everything. And then of course, with this like this age, right, so with the education and with the system, like that just somehow it is pushing us towards with this like just toys of or like the today's age, and we forget like every single day, and we somehow like become almost like kind of one of those little kind of just tools of this today's age, and we keep like somehow becoming just one of them. So I guess like that's why like start like and he repeats all these like parts. Just don't forget, right? Like, and it's like we just read here, like in 32nd word. So he's just like again like drawing attention. So like man's nature is exalted and our disposition, right? He says comprehensive. Don't forget your disposition is comprehensive, he says, right? So by his very nature, right? So we are in need, right? So needy with thousands of different sorts of needs for the innumerable divine names, each of which has many degrees. So Allah Almighty's, right, all his names and attributes has many degrees. And he goes intensified, need is longing, intensified longing is love, and intensified love is passion. So as the spirit is perfected, the degrees of love unfold according to the degrees of the names. So our job, what I see here is, so if we claim that, so we love Allah, so because just by definition, so if you love something, so if you love someone, right, so you would like to also love whatever that person loves, right? Let's say, if you love your wife, so just whatever your wife loves, so of course, you start liking it, so you start loving it, so because just to show your appreciation. So it's the same way, right? So like this is just a simple example. So if you love Allah, of course, so you should start like loving everything, other things. So then our job is like to find like all these like that highlight is like in a bounty, the magnificence, perfection, and beauty. So then, like this means our praise should be towards that. As he says, like in 32nd word, again, I think like in 32nd word, he mentions also in the fourth phrase, like just go and just like, that's like how I kind of remembered this part. So because like that love, right, the spirit, like once our spirit like is perfected, so the degrees of love unfold according to the degrees of the names. So he finishes like that 32nd word, this like little paragraph. Furthermore, since the names are the titles and manifestations of one of glory, love of them will be transformed into love of the divine essence. So everything is just basically hidden. So it's just kind of jigsaw puzzle, right? So like in how love of Allah kind of just unfolds, and it starts with like some simple things. Like, I mean, if this fifth phrase is going to help us, yes, like, and let's start from here. Like, and he is the praise, and like why? So I have to offer my praise to him because of the bounty, beneficence, perfection, and beauty. Why do I have to do it? Because my nature is exalted, he says, right? So it's the disposition so comprehensive. Find yourself, like while you're finding you need it. And then, of course, I mean, immediately it becomes a longing love, and that intensifies. And then, of course, inshallah, so it just boom, it's somehow like, and it starts like, just showing the titles and manifestations of Allah. So, and then it will be transformed to love. So how does love come? So because that's what I was also kind of just, thinking about it with a couple of friends. How does love of Allah so kind of somehow shows itself? Yes, because as we just been like reading it, so inshallah, spending the time, like, I mean, just that. So actively quest that continuous, right? Like that constant quest, inshallah. So that's the one that is going to bring us to this, inshallah. Yeah. Anyhow, so thank you. That's what I wanted to say.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. That was very beautiful points. I mean, starting from all the way to the taking this for granted, and how this love of Allah should form. Inshallah, we should go deeper into these, inshallah. And what I would like to do is, and the other thing, of course, is those are also related to what Kulnoja has been saying, right, about the bounty, for example, like as we see like the bounties around us. It might be easy to see bounties, let's say, in an apple or like a fruit, relatively easier, but it might be sometimes harder to see it in something like a cell phone or internet, right? As technological items, we kind of take them for granted or assume them to be just human-made, and for some reason not bounties given by Allah, which leads us to taking things for granted and taking things as probably is connected to the Lahul Mulk, in the sense that we might be seeing it as our own mulk, our own possession, that we don't need to thank Allah for it, Aisha. So this is definitely something that we really need to ponder about, like when we say bounty, like the extent of which we will need to expand it upon. Any reflections on these, Kulnajam? If not, I would like to read a couple paragraphs within this.
No, I don't have any reflections.
Okay, maybe then I'll read the first two paragraphs again, just to recap, and then see if we have a few more reflections, because I don't want to like rush it through either. Since the perfections, so I'll start from the beginning. Since the perfections found in all being, which are the cause of acclaim and tribute, are his, praise too belongs to him. All acclaim and laudation belongs to him, from whomever to whomever it has come and will come, from pre-eternity to post-eternity. For bounty, munificence, perfection, and beauty, which are the causes of acclaim, and everything that gives rise to praise, are his. They belong to him, they belong to him. Indeed, as the Quran indicates, worship, glorification, prostration, supplication, and praise and laudation rise continuously, unceasingly from all beings to the divine court. The following is a comprehensive proof which sets forth this truth, affirming divine unity. When we look at the universe, it appears to us in the form of a park, set with gardens, its roof gilded with lofty stars, its ground inhabited by ornamented beings. When we see it thus, we observe that the orderly, luminous, lofty, heavenly bodies and purposive, ornamented earthly beings in this park are all saying, each in its particular tongue, we are the miracles of power of an all-powerful one of glory. We testify to the unity of an all-wise creator and omnipotent maker. Maybe read this paragraph too. Then we look at the globe of the earth within the park of the universe. And we see it in the form of a garden in which uncountable varieties of multicolored, beautifully adorned flowering plants have been laid out and through which innumerable species of animals have been scattered. In this garden of the earth, all these adorned plants and decorated animals proclaim through their well-ordered forms and balanced shapes, we are each of us a miracle, a wonder of art, created by a single all-wise maker. Each of us heralds his unity and is a witness to his unity. So shall I stop here, especially about this example of park and a garden in it as the universe and the earth. How do these examples help us? I guess that's one of my questions in terms of understanding Allah's names and understanding Allah's unity, and how can we connect those miraculous creation to the unity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Any insights on these and these examples of park and a garden?
I think there's a correlation between the 4 words at the beginning that we read, Kamal, Ihsan, Ni'mat, and Jamal, and
Right.
all of these bounties that he enumerates. When we look at the creation, we see worship. Actually, we see ubudiyat, tasbih, sajdah, dua, hamd, sana. These are the words that he uses. We see all of that. We see submission. We see submission. Everything is submitted to him, but also everything is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, and that is a kind of thanks. Doing what you're supposed to do is a kind of thanks, in actual fact, because you're not doing what you want, you're doing what you're supposed to do. So, okay, a tree can't do what it wants, but at the same time, the tree is created for us to understand what submission is, as well as lots of other things. So the creation is actually telling us about its creator through its prostrations, through its glorifications, through its thanks, through its submission. And we are the only creature who is able to withhold those things from ourselves, actually, because Allah doesn't need those things. We need them. We need to thank. We need to have ubudiyat. We need to have worship. We need to make tasbih. We need to make sajdah. These are not for Allah. You know, for the sake of Allah is really misleading when people talk about for the sake of Allah. Because Allah wants us to, we must do those things, but it's actually for our own sake. It's to be human. We can't be human unless we do those things. A tree can't be a tree unless it acts like a tree. We can't be human unless we act as we're supposed to act as human beings. And we can only act as humans if we do these things, if we make tasbih, if we are abd, if we make sajdah, not just physical sajdah, but, you know, submitting to Allah, doing what we're supposed to do. And we often say, okay, we thank Allah for giving me this. For example, if I'm a very fast runner, I say, oh, I thank Allah for making me able to run fast. Well, actually, I can't run fast. You know, until I get up and start running, I can't run. It's only, maybe when I get up, I won't be able to run. Maybe I'll have a stroke or have a heart attack and drop down and I can't go in the race anymore. Maybe I'll break my leg and I won't be able to run. Nothing actually is owned by us. We get the impression, that because I'm running fast, it's me that's running fast. And then, we delude ourselves. We say, well, I thank him. I thank Allah for what he has given to me. But we have to thank Allah for what he reflects on us by reflecting it back in the correct way. That's all we can do, really. So I think these things here that he mentions, these 4 things, or maybe 5 things, ubudiyat, tasbih, sajdah, and dua, and hamd sana. The English is worship, glorification, prostration, supplication, and praise and laudation. These are in direct, they're a direct link. There's a direct line from these to the 4 things that he said are medara hamd. In other words, Kamal, Jamal, Ihsan, and Nimet.
Great, yeah, Jazakallah khair. Indeed, right? We are sometimes deluded that when we give thanks, it is like we are doing a favor. But it is actually we are owing that debt, because we are not owning really anything ourselves. And it's actually thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the things that we don't own to start with. He owns and reflects on us, and he asks us, and by doing by giving thanks and praise, we are actually doing our duty, like the rest of the universe, as you pointed out, Najam. Indeed, the universe, they are doing their worship, glorification, prostration, supplication, praise, and laudation by doing what they are supposed to do, exactly as they are supposed to do. Alhamdulillah. And it's like a very well-ordered park and a garden, as we see in this example, and each doing their job to the letter. Jazakallah khair for those comments. Nazif Abi, any more insights onto this, inshallah?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, it's a great mechanism. I mean, it just gives me it just opens just different perspectives and different angles. Just thanks a lot for these reflections and comments. Seriously. And so I guess the way that I'm just that, and then we should also kind of find is, it's basically just, it reminds me that we need to have some sort of kind of joy, I guess, in this. So and for, of course, to find a joy to when we observe life, the Ustad, he describes that around us, right? So and as a human being, of course, my job is to resemble, the way that he's teaching in Risale is just observe, right? Just look around and look yourself and how you are building a building. So look around, and how Allah Almighty built this world. So that's why his description of this the world around us, just making it look like park, and just gilded with stars and everything. So just find this and find the joy, and look that you're not going to be able to do it. And as he also just pointed out, and look, just don't get in. Just look around from outside and find that it's not so what you're supposed to be doing is you're different, right? So that's I think that's what the many, of course, human beings around us, and we just kind of forget in this kind of world life. So our what is my job? Why Allah Almighty created me? So and why do I need this? And so that need, and of course, just finding that you're a conscious being, and you have a different job. So just why you should be just doing, and of course and in return, of course, there's a great kindness. It's not only just Allah Almighty did not create and forget, he just mentioned here, right? So everything has a purpose. So we can get some sort of kind of joy and love outside of it, praising Allah, right? And offering thanks to him. And of course, I'm just looking around, like it's mean that trees and the birds and animals and everything is just like they're having. Of course, I mean they're doing what they're supposed to do. And so, what is like just we need to ask in return, like what is my job, like what should I be like just doing? So that just the through these, like of course, I mean inshallah these teachings, and we can change our perspective, and then inshallah and learn and educate ourselves, like just mean the way that that Ustad kind of describes, and learn and follow that path, so then we can follow and just look around, like I'm just and do what we are, like I'm just basically sent to this world, right? So because like as we discussed like in previous like weeks, so we are programmed like to not for this world, like inshallah, like we're programmed like to another world. But then of course just our job like here is to complete, right? And to complete, and at the same time, what is my like I'm just the perfect in this like life, why do I need it, right? So because I think like those are the key, maybe just the questions that we forget like sometimes like to ask. And then and also just he mentions like an 11th word, so I bet like you guys all remember this, the part that he says like just what is like yourself, like just basically just find the love, like find the joy, right? Because we are conscious being. He says like, and it is so like it's almost kind of your perfection of life is like to pass beyond yourself with love of him, right? So that's what he says like in the 11th word. So just pass beyond yourself, like, and it is to establish a reflection of his light, right, in the center of heart, like he says, like just find. So but we can do it, and we can inshallah just learn more, and of course practice more, and I guess like that is the one, like just basically just so then that means like my teaching is like to learn more, and of course recite more, right? So and my life should be kind of just basically making myself busy with finding Allah and always praising him. And so then the perspective need to be changed. I think like it needs to be changed a little bit, I guess. Like so like we need to first like just change our world and just cleanse it a little bit, and then like move towards more how he wants us to live. So then inshallah, so then we don't have that sort of kind of contradiction that is affecting our tranquility, our just our ubudiyya, like we just mentioned. So maybe we need to clean those like obstacles, inshallah, so then we can have more or like just better, inshallah, life, or better kind of just worshiping. Anyhow, thank you.
Thank you. No, these are very great points. Jazakallah khair. Indeed, these examples are helping us to remove those obstacles, right? It looks like when I was listening to you, right, I was thinking about those, right? The universe, if we don't look at it as a garden or a park, then you look at it as this being big masses that are practically against you, because you don't know when a star or a shooting star, a meteor or something could hit the earth. You would always tremble. Things would appear as those foreign enemy items all around you, all around the universe. Everything is in this struggle, and everything is trying to, big fish trying to eat the small fish and all. So, but seeing it as a garden and seeing it as a park converts them from being obstacles to seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as unity, to helpers, to show us the unity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So indeed, and it helps us contextualize and familiarize everything that we see around us. And as you said, right, they're having their duties perfectly. So it helps us and motivates us to do our job of shukr, hamd, a bit more, inshallah. So I'll read a couple more paragraphs as well, and then inshallah I would like to hear from Kulna as well, because Nazvabi talked and I talked, and I'm sure, and as after I read, I'm sure a few more things would open up. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Moreover, looking at the trees in the garden, we see fruits and flowers in the various forms which have been made knowingly, wisely, generously, subtly, and beautifully to the utmost degree. And they are proclaiming unanimously, we are the miraculous gifts of a compassionate one of beauty, a merciful one of perfection. We are wondrous bounties. The word bounty is one of the key words. Thus, the heavenly bodies and beings in the park of the universe, and the plants and animals in the garden of the earth, and the blossom and fruits on its trees and plants, testify and proclaim in an infinitely resounding voice, our creator and fashioner, the all-powerful one of beauty, the peerless all-wise one, the all-generous granter of favors, who bestowed us as gifts, is powerful over all things. Nothing at all is difficult for him. Nothing at all is outside the bounds of his power. In relation to his power, minute particles and stars are equal. A universal is as simple as a particular, while a particular is as valuable as a universal. The largest is as easy as the smallest in relation to his power, and the small is as full of art as the large. Indeed, as far as art is concerned, the small is greater than the large. So inshallah, I would like to stop here just for a few minutes and turn to you. And also our other attendees who has comments, either feel free to enter in the chat or feel free to speak up. But especially in this like large objects, small objects, having these, because we also, I think it's similar to like ahadiyat, wahdaniyat, those concepts of small things showing lots of art. But this, why do we need to understand, or why do we see maybe this small things as valuable as universal, large things as simple as small things? Is it to show Allah's power being boundless? Is that a lesson that we can take out of it, or is that more?
I'm going to go back to what Nazif said about
Sure.
a change in mindset, and also what you said about familiarizing. Ustad familiarizes us with the creation here because we have become, in a sense, estranged from the creation. The creation has become alien to us over the past 500 years because of the scientific revolution. And in a sense, we became a stranger in our own land. Ustad talks about the universe in very, very familiar terms: park and garden and lamp and cradle, all of these very, very familiar terms, so that we don't look upon God's signs just as something conceptual or abstract. I've lost count of the times that I've had discussions with people, with Muslims and believers, who talk about God's signs as though this is some abstract thing. And then, someone will mention, oh yes, when it rains, that is a sign of God. Or when there's an earthquake, you have to pray Salatul Ayat. This idea that signs are something, out there and something different in a box, even something conceptual. And it's the same with the divine names. The divine names are usually, oh, there's 99, and if you recite them, you'll go to heaven, and all of these strange understandings of the divine names as things which are not really relevant, or they don't really affect us that much. Or, God's signs, there are certain things which are God's signs, the big things. And I think this is where we'll start talking about Juz and Kol. Of course, Juz and Kol is a philosophical and theological discussion, quite complex, actually. But here, to simplify it for myself, I'm telling myself, don't just look at the tree, look at the leaf when it falls from the tree. Because whoever creates the leaf has to be able to create the tree. And for him, it's no less important to create a leaf than it is to create a tree. But unfortunately, we don't even see the tree. We became, in a sense, alienated from the world, from Kainat. of course, which we call nature. And then, as Nazif was saying, we need to change, but it needs to be actually quite a radical change. It's a change of consciousness. It's not just a change, I must wake up earlier and I must say more, I must do more zikr and I must say more attributes and names in my tasbih. No, it's how we read the creation. We don't read the creation as a community. Let's face it. As a community, there are 2 billion of us by name. We don't read the creation. We don't read it properly. Actually, we don't read it. The creation is something out there, and this unfortunately has been reinforced by the scientific revolution, which teaches us that everything out there is something to study. It's an object of study. And of course, to study it, it has to be distant from you. So the sun is not a lamp. The sun is a ball of gas at this temperature and that temperature, and you don't have a personal relationship with it. Like Ustad used to call the trees auntie, for example. We don't say that the sun is our cousin. No one says that. But actually, that's what it is. Right? Because we're from the same source. We're from exactly the same source. So yes, there needs to be a change. It needs to be a very radical change. It's not going to happen overnight. As Ustad says, if you wanted to send hundreds of psychologists and sociologists and historians to an example, and I'm not trying to single anyone out, to, for example, the Arabian Peninsula, and work on the population of Muslims there for 200 years, you still won't be able to do what the Prophet ﷺ was able to do in a few years, in 23 years. We need to change, and Ustad's work is all about facilitating that change.
Yeah, great point, right? It is indeed the change in the mindset and showing and seeing the creation as fruits of the same tree and leaves and other branches of the same tree of creation, and have that personal relationship will help us, right, from the psychological point of view, that familiarity, that because you're not surrounded by enemies but friends, and definitely will give us much more happy lives to lead as well. Of course, that's not the only goal in life, but it definitely is the ni'mah that is given, the bounty that is given with the iman. Nazif abi, any additional points? Otherwise, I'll read through the some paragraphs.
Yeah, just just a small one. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, how the discussion is seriously unfolding, and I really like it. And we should definitely just just don't forget, as Kunlajan mentioned and you mentioned, that that familiarization, and then we should also it's been pointed out, we're always pointing out that positive one, right? Not the negative one. So just positively familiarize with, of course, just all these creatures around us, and see them as lovely as possible, to help us, inshallah, to learn them more, and then inshallah to practice them more, and learn them more, and not just single out only just for one event, but then every single day is a beautiful event. Every single hour, every single minute is act of Allah. So and just familiarize in this perspective in a positive way. But yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I like the discussion. Yeah, thank you.
I think brother Ali Abi has something to say. I would like to unmute him. Okay, inshallah.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Related to small things as valuable as the universe. In a very short paragraph, perhaps can you show, it will be nice, in where very additional information about this. Small things, minute things are as valuable as the universe. Sometimes, in one respect, more valuable, especially in this aspect, more valuable than at the end of third mystery of the 10th phrase. Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. There is in my book 293, 293, third mystery, the last paragraph of the third mystery, which starts with indeed. Can you show or can I read?
You can read. My copy
Yes.
might not.
Yes.
Far.
Very short. Small things in one respect more valuable than big things. For example, seed, or especially the human being, is more valuable than universe. Why? Indeed, from the point of view of the wonders of art and marvels of creativeness, particulars are not behind universals. Neither are flowers lower than the stars. Neither are flowers lower than the stars, nor seeds inferior to trees. Indeed, the tree's meaning, which is the inscription of divine determining, and is in the seed, is more wonderful than the physical tree. I think this is stated by a brother. Indeed, in the seed, in this is more wonderful than the physical tree, which is the weaving of divine power and is in the garden. And especially these sentences, and the creation of man, in the original text, hilkat-i insan, and creation of man is more wonderful than the creation of the universe. Very interesting. And in that context, cannot be said human being is as valuable, as wonderful as the universe. More than that. This is the wisdom of Allah. And the creation of man is more wonderful than the creation of the universe. Why? I am saying why, to feel my expression more. If a Quran of wisdom were be written in particles of acid on an atom, if a Quran of wisdom were to be written in particles of acid on an atom, it would far surpass in value a Quran of grandeur written in stars on the face of the heavens. Similarly, there are minute particles that are superior to universals as regards the miraculousness of their art. Why especially I wanted to share this, all brothers especially of course know, but we can remember together, inshallah, it becomes useful. As stated in the Risale-i Nur, Satan sometimes, by coming from right side, Anil Yemin in the Quran, Satan says that these things are small. Allah is all powerful. In the human society, the king of human cannot and does not and cannot concern with small things. King cannot, at the same time doesn't want. His dignity doesn't require this. Small things are performed small officials. But in the art of Allah, this is not in force, because small and big, particles and stars, cell of body and body of human being, flower and sun, the universe in paradise, all of them, miracle. And as I'd like to state my understandings, as a time, every part of time, minute, second, all times, what are saying, 1 minute is also the similar things in this measure. And as a place or physical area, whole universe, what are they saying? And the flower is saying the same thing. In the art of Allah, I think this must be understood. Otherwise, the problem of shirk can penetrate with the whispering of Satan, which Satan says, at last thing I'd like to share, Satan says, these are small things. And from this led to event, these are small events. Allah Hasha doesn't concern with small things. By saying this, Satan can deceive, right word? Deceive human beings. If this reality isn't known in a correct way as stated in the Quran and as shown in the universe. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. Thank you. Great point indeed. Right, that when we don't see this as small particulars and small things are full of art, or actually sometimes more artful than the large things, then, as you said, we might assume that or that there might be some path the shaitan can find to deceive us in terms of shirk and in terms of having partners to Allah, that like these small items Allah does not need to take care of or anything, and can deceive indeed. But having these artfulness in every single thing, even as small as a particle, as an atom, I think is showing us that Allah is acting on every single thing at every single time. So Jazakallah khair is indeed a great explanation of this last part. We are out of time, so Kolun Hocam, Nazif abi, any final thoughts?
Not really. I thought that Ali did a brilliant job with explaining the importance of particulars, which was a big philosophical debate, over 1,000 years ago. Does Allah know particulars? I mean, this crazy discussion that they had. But he explained why it's important. And yes, as Hikmat says, it's an issue now as well. Yes, absolutely.
In Nazif abi, any final comments from your end?
Oh no, thanks. Yeah, this was a great discussion. I learned a lot, and thanks again to Ali abi. So yeah, it's a great conversation contribution. Yeah, thank you so much. But today it was a great discussion. I really loved it, and inshallah, may Allah help us and practice it. Inshallah, till just until next time.
Ameen. Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Ali abi, maybe I'll let you make a dua to end, inshallah.
Yes, and last thing, just before making supplication, last thing, very serious or important event in the past I lived. I'd like to share with friends relate to our topic we are discussing now. Years ago, I went into a mosque. After praying in the garden of mosque, we were speaking to brothers. One of them bigger than me, very old. We were discussing something, I don't know. I cannot remember the subject. I said that even small things, for example, leaf of the tree, leaf, right? Leaf. Verak in English, Arabic.
Correct.
Leaf?
Correct. Yes, leaf.
Leaf of the tree only can fall with the permission of Allah. There is ayat 59 and Amsuresi. Please, you can check at home from translation. I said to them, Verak, this is clear in the Quran. Leaf of the tree only can be can fall from the tree to the soil to the flower with the permission of Allah. Unfortunately, perhaps this became an opportunity to renew our belief, inshallah, with this last application I'm saying. Unfortunately, one of them, bigger than me, older than me, said to me that, "Oh, Hoja, what are you saying? Allah doesn't concern with a leaf. The wind comes, leaf falls. That's all. What are you saying? Allah is all powerful. Allahu Ekber. Allah doesn't concern with the leaf of a tree. We were so unhappy. We tried to share something, but we understood that the explanation given in Risale-i Nur, the reality is emphasized in Risale-i Nur, just like we are reading now, so important. Even perhaps more than Islamic countries and Islamic society. I wanted to share this. Thank you very much. Subhaneke la ilme lena illa ma 'allamtana inneke entel alimul hakim. Ve ahiru da'vahum enil hamdülillahi rabbil alamin. Rabbena la tuzigh kulubena ba'de iz hedeytena ve heb lena min ledunke rahme. İnneke entel vehhab. Rabbena inneke cami'un nasi li yevmin la raybe fi. İnnallaha la yuhliful mi'ad. Rabbena atina fid dunya hasene ve fil ahireti hasene ve qina azaben nar bi rahmetike ya erhamer rahimin. Rabbi cealni mukimes salati ve min zurriyeti. Rabbena ve tekabbel dua. Rabbena ğfirli ve li valideyye ve lil mu'minine yevme yegumul hisab. Allahümme la tuhrucna mined dünya illa ma'aş şehadeti vel iman. Rabbena la tec'alna ma'al kavmiz zalimin. Rabbena la tec'alna fitneten lil kavmiz zalimin. Rabbena la tec'alna fitneten lillezine kefaru veğfir lena Rabbena. İnneke entel azizul hakim. Rabbena amennâ bima enzelte vetteba'na'r rasul. Fektubna ma'aş şahidin. Allahümme bihakkı suretil İhlas. İc'alna min ibadikel muhlisinel muhlasin. Amin. Lillahi Teala'l Fatiha.
Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. For all.
Amin. Selamun aleyküm ve rahmetullah.
Thank you. See you next week.
Thank you. See you inshallah.
Cezakallah.